Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome to another Premier League preview show. Guys, I know this is different from the usual that we usually do. I know you're watching back on this as a premiere, so we are not live, unfortunately. There's no live comments to go through, but I'm sure you can see me in the comments. I would have explained this to you in there, but I hope you're all keeping good, people. We still do have a live chat. The reason why we're doing this, as you can see, my brother Edmin, we are in person. I'm not wearing a cap. We were doing this on our lunch break, recording on Friday afternoon. What time is it actually?
Well, it's just up there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's just up there.
Just after quarter to 11.
Quarter to
12, sorry.
There you go, right there, people. So hope you're all keeping good. And yeah, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, not too bad. Maybe you should tell people why we're doing it this way.
Yeah, the reason why we're doing it this way is because this evening, myself and Edmin, we are having our annual FIFA night where we each year when FIFA comes out, we usually do it on the day of release. But because last week was busy with the North London derby, we thought we'd push it to this week. And yeah, we play FIFA, we play some career mode, we start a save. Who are we using?
Everton this year.
Exactly.
Everton.
I'm sure if Matt, if you're watching or any other Everton fans, you'll be happy. Let us know who we should sign as well. This is the reason why we're doing it, so we can enjoy that evening, really focus on getting that out. So yeah, we can try and build. We don't, you know what? We always start our Everton career mode, but
yeah, we never finish
it. Not just Everton. We never finish it, and we'll try to this year.
It's always fun though.
Yeah, it is fun. And this is why, FIFA, they need to make online career mode so we could potentially play together in the future. But, that's another topic. We are here to talk about the Premier League games. And you know what? Let's kick it off. Let's start off with the big game of the weekend, which is Arsenal versus Liverpool. So this one here at the Emirates. Ed, I just wanted to ask you, right, we're going to be a little bit more casual with here, so we're going to be missing out the stats. Let me know your thoughts on it, if you prefer it in this way, or if you are missing the stats, or what we can do to improve on the show as well. It'd be great to hear your thoughts, being as you guys are the ones supporting us and watching. But with this Arsenal versus Liverpool game, of course, we know Arsenal entering this on back of some great form. We've been, at top of the league, one defeat all season in all competitions. Liverpool, tricky start. Injuries and loss and massive dips in their key performers. But can you see can you see this Liverpool team coming back to where they once were just a few months ago, it feels like now, when they're competing on all fronts? Do you think that's possible this season?
It might be difficult this season because we're 8-9 games in now and they're already losing touch, so maybe not. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. I don't know how a good performance against Rangers can really change much in your thinking. Rangers didn't really put anything forward. They didn't give anything going forward. And I don't know if Trent silences his critics with a screamer of a free kick. Doesn't really prove that he can defend still, does it? I think that's overblown, personally, the defensive issues. We've talked about it so many times that I think the midfield's the issue.
Yeah,
the midfield's the issue with Liverpool, and that's why I think it might be a difficult game for them this game. I just think if you look at the team midfields, whilst I've always raised concerns with Arsenal's depth, Arsenal's starting midfield is far superior to Liverpool's for me.
Oh, that's interesting because, with Fabinho, Thiago and Henderson in there at loads of points last season, when they were fit, they stayed fit throughout the majority of it, which is why they were able to go so deep in many competitions. I thought that was a very good and strong balanced midfield. But like, as you said, with Arsenal's issue was the depth and, losing Thomas Partey in that midfield. I don't know, man, because with Thiago and Fabinho, when they're performing, they're world-class. The only one that's close to world-class in that midfield at this moment in time is Partey for me. Ødegaard, he has potential to be there. Xhaka, very good, and performs on an international level, on a world level. And in this season, he has been in world-class form, and he's been up there with the best midfielders in the league. So yeah, if he's up there in that sense, he's going to be up there within Europe. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because I think what both of these teams in their midfield really thrives on is continuity. You see, everybody knows their role. Everybody works hard. And that's why, that Arsenal are currently top of the league and Liverpool have been able to keep up with Manchester City. But as you said, Thiago's not been at the races. Fabinho's been poor recently.
Especially by his standards.
Yeah, by the standards that he set. He was competing with Rodri. Like, people may still and were regarding him higher than Rodri. And Rodri, for me, is the best in the league in that position. So that midfield battle is key. But you know what? The big players that Liverpool have, I'm still entering this game a little bit nervous because, Van Dijk has been awful this season. But when we talk about awful, once again, the standards that they've set, Trent below par for his standards, Salah, Luis Diaz. The only real proper performer in there is Firmino, and he's the one that's really shone.
The one that was written off before the season started.
Exactly. There you go, right there. And Diaz, he's looked sharp. Jota entering back into form. How do you see this game going out, bro?
Arsenal at home are a different beast as well this year with the fans well and truly behind them. I'm edging Arsenal to win this game. I'm going to go with it being a tight game. I believe you're doing a watch along for it.
I am. Yeah. Yes, we are doing a watch along, and I messaged Aled this morning. Hopefully, we'll be doing that one together. We're just trying to work out, you see, how we're watching the game. But yes, people, watch alongs. I know you like these duo ones. Oh, and me and Aled will be doing that one. Aled from Klopp Talk TV. Go check him out if you haven't done so already. And yeah, he's been on the channel previously, but it's been a while. But yeah, this is the first time I'm doing a watch along Arsenal versus Liverpool with us being the favourites. Arsenal this season, you've heard me wax lyrical about them, and if you haven't done so, just
You've
watch.
Not been watching.
You haven't been watching. If this is your first time seeing me, I'm an Arsenal fan. And I'm just absolutely loving what I'm seeing. Even yesterday's result against Bodo Glimt, just seeing the rotation players, the players that are on the fringes of breaking into the first team, and Ketia, who started towards the end of last season, he was sharp, he was working hard, pressing, and scored a scrappy goal like he does, and is making runs in behind and really improving in his hold-up play. Fabio Vieira's starting to pick up some rhythm. He was very good, like sharp and creative on the field. Kieran Tierney, who last season was a shoe-in easily, one of our first names on the team sheet when fit. He's not been playing many games, but I thought he was excellent and showing real development, playing in that inverted wing-back role, but showing a lot of athleticism and energy for the 70 minutes that he was on and then tailed off, like a lot of players did towards the end of the second half. So I think we're kind of dispelling that myth about Arsenal's squad depth overall. In certain areas, I think it's true. For example, the right wing, like Marquinhos, who was very good against Zurich and impressed in that one, wasn't his greatest game yesterday. And you're going to get that from an 18-year-old who's just come from Brazil.
Very raw. Very raw.
Exactly. Like, you're going to get that influx in performance levels. That's to be expected. And of course, beyond Thomas Partey, those are the two areas of worry. I've heard a lot of non-Arsenal fans say, well, Gabriel Jesus gets injured, you're in massive trouble. I don't actually think that is going to be the case. Of course, Gabriel Jesus offers a lot for Arsenal and gives us in terms of what we're doing. But if he gets injured for a short period, I think we'll be fine. I think we'd manage with that with Eddie and Nketiah. He's not at the level of Gabriel Jesus, but that's what happens when you've got really good players in your squad. You are going to miss them. Man City will miss Kevin De Bruyne for a long period, but over 2 or 3 games, I'm sure they could cope with him. We've just seen it against Manchester United without Rodri, who was the first name in the team sheet there, and they were able to smash him. But yeah, if we're trying to get to that level, we're going to have quality as a team beyond that. But in terms of my prediction, I'm nervous. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Arsenal win. I'm more nervous on this game than I was against Spurs. So mine's 2-1.
So you can just check that written down before you said anything. I also
went for a 2-1. He's got a 2-1 Arsenal win
as well.
Yeah, so 2-1.
Tight game. I see it being 1-1 and then Arsenal scoring. That's how I see it going.
That Liverpool defence not going to be able to hold out.
No.
But guys, let us know yours in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching this afterwards, after the premiere. Let us know in the comments. And I'm sure you're able to comment as well during the premieres. And you know what? We'll move on into the next game now. Chelsea versus Wolves. With your side, Ed, bad news that's come out today with Pedro Neto. Is a huge doubt for the World Cup after he's had surgery with ankle ligament damage. just sacked Bruno Lage. You've still got no one in. Is there anyone that you want in at the Wolves?
I would be lying if I could say I know loads of different Portuguese managers that we should be picking up. There are some Portuguese managers that appear to be they play interesting football, but there's absolutely no like Ruben Amorim for one. But there's no way Fosun and this Wolves board are going to pay to get someone out of their position. So we're going to go for someone out of work.
Yeah,
it looks like it's going to be Lopetegui. I'm hoping he's more like the start of his Sevilla career than his end, where he's now called Lopetegui.
Was he the manager when you played them and lost 1-0?
Yes, yeah, he was. He should have been Wolves manager before Nuno at the start of the rise of Wolves out of the Championship. But Spain came calling, and then that obviously ended in disaster before the World Cup, was it 2018?
Yeah, 2018, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been linked with him for a long time. He's, of course, Uncle Jorge Mendes' client. He's all part of the Gestifoot conglomerate. So it looks like he's nailed on to do it. This is a bit of a free hit for Wolves this week. But I'm not, especially now Potter is doing magic at Chelsea, pun intended. They looked quite impressive against Milan in the week. I thought Milan didn't really turn up, though. For me personally, I think showing maybe the lack in depth potentially of Serie A. If they're the champions and Chelsea could handle them quite easily. Maybe says more about the strength of the Premier League than anything else. It's a bit of a free hit. We've got two youth managers. One's an actual Wolves fan in charge this week. My first and only hope, really, for this game is that we don't start playing players out of position all of a sudden. I'd rather at least go there, have some kind of pride about us, go there to show the new manager, whoever it's going to be, that there's something in this squad. But I'm not expecting very much from this game.
Yeah, me neither, unfortunately. And with the bad news of Pedro Neto as well, that takes an element from their already struggling attack. In my eyes, they're not really lacking for depth in the wide areas, though. That's probably one caveat that you'd take with it. If Adama can get his head back into it and just put up a decent level that he showed under Nuno, maybe you might be able to get something from him. Podence as well, and then Hwang, as you said to me earlier, is back in light training as well as
Jimenez. Both of them apparently in light training.
Yeah,
potentially not going to play this weekend, but Hwang up front wouldn't be the worst case scenario in this kind of game.
Yeah,
he tends to be the only striker that we have that takes that one chance. That we've got at the minute. Maybe it's written in the stars for Diego Costa to come back and
true, forgot about that.
That might be a consolation towards the end of the game.
Of course, Diego Costa, former Chelsea champion there, left in sour circumstances because of Antonio Conte. But with this one, Chelsea, for me, the intensity that they have, that they played with against AC Milan, Potter's going to want to build on that. And I didn't think that it was going to take him too much time to settle into things because he's a very good manager, a very good coach as well. Both sets, because managing and coaching is two different things. Managing a group of players, managing individuals is different to coaching a lot of these. And that's probably what Bruno Lage lacked, the management part. But in coaching, I thought he was very good. But and managing the squad is difficult. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Chelsea win. I don't think it's going to be a hammering. Wolves don't usually get battered with how they play as well. I think you're going to be setting up with that solid back four once again, trying to hit them on the counter-attack. But Graham Potter and Chelsea, Reece James, are just looking at those wide areas. Aubameyang entering some form. Mason Mount with a point to prove. And others like Havertz too. Yeah, I think it's going to be a Chelsea win here. Not a great game to watch, but I've gone 2-0. What about you?
I've gone 3-0. I'm wondering whether they're going to revert back to the 3-5-2 like we did last week.
Yeah.
And of course, big injury news for those of you doing your predictions later. Obviously, not necessarily injuries, but without Neves as well for this game.
Oh, no Neves.
Was it suspended?
Oh, 5th yellow card.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
So that's why I'm going with 3-0. Without at least him in midfield to control the ball for some of the occasions, I can see us getting attacked.
You see, I like how you dropped that after I dropped my prediction. You see, I didn't know that. I thought Neves would be there.
No, he picked up a booking, quite a silly booking.
I want to go 4 now, but it's too late. But we'll move on into the next game, and you know what? It's also to do with a London team, and we're going to do, speaking about Graham Potter, we'll speak about Brighton and Hove Albion versus Tottenham. Brighton having that brilliant draw. Trossard, man of the match with a hat trick against Liverpool at Anfield. Not many players have done that. The last player was a certain Andre Arshavin.
Yeah, I think there's only been 3 in the Premier League.
Let's say
era, I think.
Oh wow,
is a stat I heard, but I don't remember who the other one is.
But Brighton with De Zerbi, great start, and then Antonio Conte has come up a little bit of pressure and criticism this week from certain Spurs fans on social media, mainly on Twitter, faceless ones saying Conte out, but there's certain ones that have been questioning him. How do you see this game going, bro, against Brighton?
Well, I think the only thing that may work in Spurs' favour is obviously this new Brighton manager is all about attack. 2
Italians, right at it.
Yeah, true. And to blow our own trumpet just a little bit, if you go back to last week's preview show, I think we nailed how we thought this game, the North London derby, was going to go. And what we know about Conte, what we know about Spurs, under Conte, counter-attacking team, they're away from home against a team that under Potter controlled the possession and liked to attack. And under the new manager, whose name I've forgotten.
What about De Zerbi?
Yeah, what he said. Tereak De Zerbi. What we know about him from his, not just last week, but from doing some kind of background on him, is he likes to attack. He likes to go forward. He did that with Sassuolo in Italy as well, I believe. So that could play into Spurs' hands. First home game for him as well. I think I'm going to edge towards Spurs getting a win in this game. I think it's a little bit ridiculous to have the Conte out stuff now. If you didn't know what Conte was like before he became your manager, you should have been saying Conte out before he even came in.
Exactly.
Because he's not going to have changed his spots.
It's true.
And again, emotions are going to be high from the North London derby, of course, as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of that may be fueled by the fact that they kind of got owned by their biggest rivals last week. Didn't really seem to lay a glove on Arsenal, even after scoring. So I'm going to go straight out with my prediction as well. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think this is going to be 4-2 to Spurs.
4-2 to Spurs. Interesting. Yeah, I think with De Zerbi, with how they play and attacking-wise, they will leave a lot of space in behind.
Yeah.
And maybe that naivety will give Spurs some joy. I do think Spurs are going to bounce back as well. Just because of how De Zerbi's going to want to set up this Brighton side, I think it'll play into the hands of Tottenham, just given what he's done previously. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Tottenham, but I hope I'm going to be pleasantly surprised in that De Zerbi can show that tactical nous and show that flexibility and still maintain an attacking threat that Brighton will certainly possess, but show that he can do it against these big boys. And if he can get a draw at least from this game and nullify a lot of their attacking threat, you know what? Massive credit, and Brighton could be on for a major season in that sense, with the feeling that's around that club at the moment. We'll move on into the next game now, which, as you can see, we're flying through these at the moment. We'll talk about the champions. It's more of a foregone conclusion. Manchester City against Southampton. Haaland again, just the 2 goals.
We only played 45 minutes.
Yeah, true. Just the 2 goals in 45 minutes against Copenhagen, where the goalkeeper, Grabara, who used to be from the Liverpool's academy, said to Jack Grealish, "It's not human." And this was what we've been saying for weeks. So, yeah, Manchester City win. We're going to go for that. Do you think Haaland's going to break the record this season?
Well, I'm still gutted I didn't captain him last week for FPL, by the way. My faith in Man United. I told you earlier to watch the preview show for how we nailed the Spurs Arsenal game. Don't listen to what I said about the Man United game, where I said that I thought it was going to be closer than it was in the end. I went for a draw, I think, in that one.
Yeah.
What the record is in? What, another hat trick? Is that what you're talking about? Or
any record?
Name a record.
Yeah, any record.
I'm finding it difficult. You know how we do as football fans. We try and liken people to other people. I'm struggling to find a likeness. Have I seen this before in 37 years? No, I don't think I have. His explosiveness reminds me of R9, but he doesn't have the skill set of R9 to be able to take on a man and beat them. He's got the predatory instincts of like a Shearer or a Fowler that can bang the goal in from wherever, but he's way more athletic than them. And he's not a target man, but you could use him as that. He's a unicorn. I think Wilf, shout out. I think you use that phrase for him, and I think you're right. I think he is a bit of a unicorn. I think he might be able to beat them alone, to be honest, in this game. De Bruyne setting him up. They both got a nice rest in midweek. I'd wonder if he's going to get over 30 goals this year in the Premier League, because, of course, he doesn't have the World Cup. So all the pre-concerns we had about hamstrings and injuries and, is he too big for his own body? Has he grown too much? He's got basically a month off. So that could make this season even more of a one-off than it already is with the Winter World Cup.
It's true.
I think I'm going to go for a massive score in this one. I think I'm going to go 6-0.
6-0 City. Do you know what? If there is one side that's one of their bogey teams,
True,
it's Southampton.
Last year, did they?
Nope, not one game. I think in the FA Cup, actually, they're beaten, but not in the Premier League. But this Haaland factor, you've gone for a 6-0. I'm going to say they're going to have mercy just because of the amount of games that they had.
Waving and white flag.
Yeah, they'll show them mercy with the amount of games that they've got. They show Manchester United mercy. It could have been way more than 6. they made 4 substitutions but it was 6-1. So I'm gonna go for 4-0. I think it might be 3-0 at half time, and then
changes are made.
But Haaland will get a rest. Busy period coming up, so then I think they're not going to be as relentless in that sense. But Manchester City, dominant form. Going to win the league for you?
Oh,
still, for me too as well.
And Southampton are still for me in trouble. I think that one good performance against Chelsea aside, they lost to Wolves in the form that we're in at the minute. So I think that should tell you all you need to know about them at the minute. I think they're not far away from trouble, just like my team.
Exactly. And you know what? We spoke about these guys earlier on in our career mode. Everton versus Manchester United. This is a big one. Sunday evening, 7 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday, strange. By the way. Massive, I guess, for both sides. Manchester United come off the back of a defeat. And for Everton, this is close to a free hit that you're going to get. But, they've been in really good form this season. Massive credit to Everton. Frank Lampard, the job he's done there. Manchester United scraping a win against Omonia with a lot of their starters.
That was a proper team they put out yesterday.
Yeah, and with Casemiro, what the fans have been calling for in that sense. Martial, come on, looked very good again. He's going to be a dangerous player, and I think he'll get the best out of Rashford as well, like we saw in that Ollie season where they finished second. I think they both got not ridiculous, but a decent amount of goals. Can't say ridiculous amount now with Haaland in this league. But I'm going to go in terms of prediction for this one. I think this is a banana skin for Manchester United, given the fact they've just had their exertions in the Europa League, which I'm sure a lot of you guys would have said before a ball was kicked. Manchester United have a better squad to deal with the Europa League than Arsenal. Manchester United have played all their starters in the Europa League. So I'm going to go with an Everton win, I'm going to go by a 1-0 win. Everton don't really score many goals, but with Frank Lampard, how he's got them set up, just how you see them blocking shots. The effort levels are there, being able to have a threat on the counter-attack with the width and the pace and the directness of Gordon and Gray. Double G's right there, Gucci gang. 1-0 win. What about you for this one?
Part of me, it hurts my heart to say Everton are doing really well because the levels that Cody has brought to that, and Matt spoke about it a few weeks ago on when we did the after the transfer window discussion. That is what he can bring to you. And alongside him, you've got Tarkowski, who's probably, again, another great leader, but maybe not as vocal as Connor Cody. Obviously, Connor Cody has the sort of the Scouse stereotype mentality of, big talker, big chatter. He has brought them up exponentially. Frank Lampard every week seems to be shutting me up that he's maybe a better coach / manager than I thought he was. Personally, he seems to have galvanised the fans as well behind them. Like you say, the only issue I've got is they don't score enough goals. So I think I'm going to go with a draw in this one. I think Man United, maybe Ten Hag, just a quick point on what you were saying. Maybe him playing the starters is because he's still trying to find his best 11 and get his system set. So maybe that's another reason why maybe in the Europa League, they're still playing their players.
It's a good point.
And Arsenal looked very comfortable yesterday as well, whereas Man United didn't. But you can see that in the form of the two teams. I think I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for a 1-1. I think I'm going to sit a little bit on the fence, see it as a score draw of some kind.
Score draw. Interesting. We'll move on into the next game now. Crystal Palace versus Leeds. Interesting matchup. Two very attacking sides. I think it's a 2:00 kickoff on a Sunday. The warm-up for the Arsenal versus Liverpool game. I think it'll be an interesting to watch.
I love that. We'll call it
I'm sorry, Rich. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I think it'll be an interesting one with how both teams are going to play. And it's important for both sides. Leeds, after the back of that draw against Aston Villa, which I'm sure they would have felt confident to win. But they didn't do that in the end with Sinistera getting the red card. But Crystal Palace, they've had a very difficult start to the season in these opening games. I think they've come out respectable in this one. And how do you see this one going, bro, at Selhurst Park?
Yeah, I think this is a pivotal moment for both of these teams in this season because they are both in and around mid-table. They're both on the cusp of young managers, good squads, money's been spent. Is it time for them to kick on to be top 10 and comfortable? Palace at home, ring out all the cliches about going to Selhurst Park. Leeds away from home. Jesse Marsh seems to have got them beaten to his drum now, not the Bielsa one. So I'm quietly impressed with what Leeds are doing this season. I think, like you say, last week the game against Villa turned into a little bit of a farce, didn't it? With a lot of players getting quite petty with the referee and the fans and things like that as well. So I don't think that helped the game last week. And Villa, of course, going there happy to pick up a draw as well. Probably didn't help.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to back a Leeds win in this one. I think I'm going to go with a 1-0 Leeds win. I see Leeds edging this one just about.
I'm going to play to the crowd here. I think I do. Just Patrick Vieira as well, and
true.
And they're at home. I think that's a big factor, and the fact that they're not going to be coming out of this with massive confidence, with the dent in their confidence. Their performance against Chelsea was good enough for a draw. Got robbed with that Thiago Silva decision.
True.
I'm going to back, but Leeds beat Chelsea this season. I'm going to go with a Crystal Palace win, 2-1, no clean sheet for either side. I think that's the default prediction I've gone for. But I could see goals. I could see a 3-2 in this one. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. Elise is going to bang that first goal this season. Let's go to the next one. We're going to talk about Newcastle versus Brentford, the Ivan Toney derby. Right there, I'm sure he'll have a point to prove. Two very good sides for me, well managed, well coached by Thomas Frank, the away side for Brentford, and Eddie Howe, excellently done with the players that they have. I think it'll be a cagey one though in this game with how both sides are going to set up. It's going to be a tight one, how Brentford will perform away from home in that counter-attack. I think Newcastle will edge it though, once again. I'm just going to, purely because they're at home, I'm going to go with a 1-0 Newcastle win. What about you for that game?
Yeah, again, without Isak, ASM is still potentially a doubt, isn't he, as well? So that
Callum Wilson's
back and a Debbie finisher like we've seen throughout his career. It's injuries more than anything that probably held him back from not being at a club such as Newcastle before, a lot as big as Newcastle and sort of where they are. The Ivan Toney factor, that's what I backed last week instead of in FPL going for him, thinking he was going to bag a few against Bournemouth. He's obviously got even more to prove right now. But I think I'm with you. I think I am with you with the Newcastle win, but I think I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0. Newcastle at home, incredibly solid all year. Annoyingly so.
Maybe we're sleeping on Brentford. Maybe. Ivan Toney, point to prove. I know Paxson, you're using the comments, already getting his predictions in. I know he's got a Brentford goal, just so he can say Ivan, you know the rest. We're going to move on into, from one Eddie Howe, we talk about him, to his former club in a relegation battle, Bournemouth between Leicester. Currently, it's not a relegation battle as it stands in the league, though. If you're looking at it from a Bournemouth perspective, sitting in 13th, Leicester moved up from the bottom, knocking their East Midlands rivals there, beating them 4-0. Bro, how do you see this one going?
I don't see this one being a good game of football.
No,
that's my first
match of the day. Last,
yeah. It depends. It depends because this could be one of those ones where maybe Leicester found some form last week. Well, this week actually it was on Monday night, wasn't it? Was it the Forest game Monday?
Yeah, Monday. Yeah,
Maddison.
Proving you wrong.
No, proving me right. Flat track bully playing against Forest and doing well. And I see Bournemouth again, another one where maybe he can perform. I see Leicester edging this just because I don't think Bournemouth have got enough for me. I don't think. I still think it's a little bit of a false position where they are. I obviously watched them bore a game. They were even worse than Wolves in the game that I saw them this year. But I'm going to go with the Leicester win on this one as well. I just don't see Bournemouth having enough up top for me, so I don't even see them scoring. Leicester still have more quality in the final third for me, especially Maddison, definitely in very good form at the minute as well. So I'm going to go with the 2-0 Leicester win.
I'm not too sure. I'm still not convinced with Leicester. They did come up against a struggling Nottingham Forest side. I'm not going to go for a Leicester win. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Do you still think that their defence can hold out? I know it's away to Forest, at home to Forest. I don't think they will be able to, man.
No, Forest didn't do very much going forward either. Exactly. Then when they did, there was a couple of times when there was a couple of offsides, wasn't there, for a 1 year, and Morgan Gibbs-White, I think, if they'd have held their runs, they were through. So they're definitely still Civ-like at the back.
Yeah, that's what I'm Brendan Rodgers. I don't think he's got a buy out of this team yet. And yeah, if they do grab a result, maybe they can roll on the momentum. But I hope Maddison scores. I've just put him in my FPL. But yeah, I don't think they'll be able to win. Speaking of Forest, they're at home to Villa, and this is certainly a lower down in the table clash, a relegation battle, I think, with how both teams have been performing this season. West away to the East in the Midlands. How I think this game is going to go, once again, it's not going to be a nice one for the eyes, for you football purists, but for those who love the game and just, watch football at every given opportunity, I think it'll be an interesting one. It'll be a feisty one. It won't be fluid football, but there will be a lot of passion and hard work in these games because Steve Cooper's been extended his contract today
to 2025.
Interesting decision right there. Let us know your thoughts on that in the live chat or in the comments. I like Steve Cooper. I think he's been given a difficult job. I think they'll be able to bounce back in this one, though. I'm hoping so, because I have predicted Forest to stay up even after their poor start. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Nottingham Forest win at home.
I think the pressure's still sneakily on Stevie G as well at the moment.
Definitely.
I think that's going under the radar, maybe helped by some of the other madness that's going on, sort of like the Leicester story, Wolves sacking their manager kind of out the blue. I'm also backing Forest to finally get a win in this one. I'm going to go with do they score 3? Do they score 3?
On, go for it.
3-1. I'm going to go for.
Bang.
I don't see them keeping a clean sheet, sadly, for them.
There we go.
Last game, I think, too.
And it is the final game. West Ham versus Fulham. Mid-table clash, I'd say. This one is at the moment. West Ham, I mean, they're lower than Bournemouth and Aston Villa, but we expect them to be fine in the end, I'm sure, like you all do. Let me know if you think West Ham are going to be in trouble this season. I don't think so. This one's an interesting one, though. If Mitrovic is injured, as I believe...
Well, on FPL, it's saying sort of 50 to 70%, 75%, but that can mean anything.
Depends.
He came off early in the last game.
Yeah, he did. And he was an injury doubt.
More from that.
He was an injury doubt then as well. Solely for that reason, I see a West Ham win. That focal point that they're going to be lacking, they've got one in Vinicius, but not at the level that Mitrovic is at. West Ham.
Stature even, really. Sort of the...
Yeah, I mean, he's quite big. True, he's 6'2". Vinicius is... physical, but just not at the level for me that as Mitrovic has shown. I'm going to go with a 2-0 West Ham win. Same scoreline as last week.
Yeah, well, the only thing I was going to say is don't take anything from the performance last week. West Ham were awful, but Wolves were worse in a 2-0 loss for Wolves. I'm going with the West Ham 1-0 winning that one as well. I just think slightly more up top for them. And like you say, without Mitrovic, Fulham are slightly toothless.
Exactly. Guys, let us know your thoughts and your predictions in the comments or in the live chat in this premiere that we're doing right here. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's a shorter one today because, we are having to do it at lunch. We're going to be playing some FIFA whilst this is loaded up. Well, I'll still be in the chat. You'll see me there, but we'll be playing FIFA as well. So, hope you're all keeping good, people. I hope you have a fantastic weekend as well. You got any final words to say, bro?
No, get in the Discord. If you're not already, the link will be in there as well. So get in the Discord, get your predictions in, guys. And the predictions table is in the Discord as well. So there was a big change at the top where someone got into the top 3 this week from smashing it last week, while me and Paxton are dropping the ball. So hoping to pick it back up again.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, just like this Premier League season. Guys, I'll catch you later. I'll see you for the Arsenal versus Liverpool game. Have a good one. Have a good weekend. Take care. And peace.